Hi, this is my banana cake recipe and it's a great way to get rid of any bananas that are a bit overripe or if you just fancy something a little bit different. So I got all of my ingredients out and I put them all out for you to see. So I've started by mashing up 2 of my bananas in a bowl. Now I've used the back of a fork, but you can use a masher. Just remember not to over mash because you actually do want it to be a little bit lumpy. And if you put it in a food processor or if you just mash it down really smooth, you won't get that lovely texture when you're making the cake. So now I'm slicing the bananas, the remaining 2. I'm slicing them around about half a centimetre thick, or if you're doing it in inches, it's around about 1/4 of an inch. So I was using fresh nutmeg, so I was using the fine side of a grater and just grating some nutmeg down from a fresh piece. If you're using ground nutmeg, then you could probably put in a teaspoon or maybe 2 teaspoons, depending on what you prefer. You could also put cinnamon in this, some ground cinnamon is really nice, or maybe even half and half, so maybe half cinnamon and half nutmeg. So I've put the butter and the sugar in a quite heavy based pan and I'm stirring it with the wooden spoon over a low heat. I'm going to keep stirring this for the next minute or two. It's really important that you don't leave this mixture as it can burn really easily. So I'm just going to stir it until all of the lumps are gone and then I'll show you what it looks like. Now that your mixture's cooled a little bit, you're ready to add the eggs. So if you just stir it around a little bit first, just to check that there's no skin formed, because you don't want it to be cold, you did just want it to cool a little bit. And then if you add your eggs, you can add them all at once, and you can just stir them for a few minutes, just to make sure they're a little bit incorporated. It doesn't matter if it's perfect or not at this point. Now we're going to add our wet ingredients to our dry ingredients. So what we'll do is we'll add our nutmeg to the flour, give it a quick stir, and then make a well in the middle of the flour mixture and add our wet ingredients. Now obviously mine fell out of the well because I was holding up to the camera, but I'm sure yours won't. And if you just mix it until it's just incorporated, you don't need to mix it really well, as this cake doesn't work very well if you over mix it. I added the mashed banana into the mixture and stirred it around a little bit, and this is what it looked like. A little bit lumpy, but this is perfect. This is exactly the texture we're looking for. Then I greased the tin, I lined it with foil. Normally I would line it with baking paper, but I didn't have any, so you can just line it with foil and then coat it with a little bit of butter. And I poured the mixture in, just a little bit, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan, and then evened it out so we've got to all of the edges. So what we're going to do now is we're going to layer the banana on top of that batter, then put a little bit more batter on top, then layer a bit more banana on top of that, and then put the remaining batter on the top of the cake. And then we're going to put it into our preheated oven at 190 degrees. Remember to lower that temperature if it's a fan assisted oven, and it's going to go in for 50 minutes or so, at least 50 minutes I would say, possibly even 55 or a whole hour. So after 50 minutes I took the cake out of the oven and I've just put it on the side here. Now I wanted to show you how I test for firmness. So I've just pressed it. It's a little bit springy, but it's not too springy. If it jiggles at all, it's not cooked. So with this cake it is really important that it has gone in for the full 50 minutes, because inserting a skewer won't necessarily tell you that it's cooked. So I put it on a cooling rack and I let it cool for about half an hour, and then I served it. This cake is really nice served warm, but you can also serve it the next day because it's perfect as well for that. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching.